in my own hometown. Stranger.
Howdy folks, Little John in the brewery again, and today just throwing together a just a basic hoppy pale ale. A little bit of variation. I'm going to push the hops right towards the end. I'm going to do a bit more of the hops, big hop stand, so a little bit of difference. And just coming off the US-05 versus M44 experiment, I'm going to split this batch between 05 and BRY-97. There was one or two people who were interested in that. Shut that for a second. So I'm just mashing in 23. I'm looking for about 24 litre batch. 23 is going to split between into the two 15 litre fermenters, about 11 and a half, 12 litres each. So at the moment I've got about 14 litres of water in the mash tun. It's currently sitting on about 67 degrees. It'll come back down to about 64, and that's what I'm going to mash at. So I've got 4 kilos of Vienna. This is unusual for me. I've never used more than about 25% Vienna in a mash. This one's pretty much all Vienna. Just going for a bit more of a simple malt base. There's a nice thick mash in there. And I'm also going to add to that what was 250 grams of caramel, just to boost that underlying malty caramel sweetness. I will add 300 grams of dextrose to this in the boil, just to help keep the body nice and thin. I am mashing around 64, so it's going to be on the lightish side. But I'll just be using that Dex just to bring the body down a little bit and to boost the alcohol to touch. So that's in. The beauty spa gel in place. Yeah, I'll kick this pump back on in a second. Turned off. It didn't want to work when I first started this afternoon, so I had to pull it apart. And I'll put it back together. It's making a bit of noise, so it's not really easy to talk over. So I'll just leave it for a moment. So I'm going to mash this. This is going to sit for 40 minutes, and then we'll ramp up to 72, and then we'll do a sparge. We'll come back. So I'll come back and look at that a bit later on. Righto, so we were 25 minutes into the mash on this fella. I'm just going to get some hops going and have a little bit of a natter about what's going to happen with this one going forward. So drop some bittering, some hops obviously. I'm going to throw some topaz in here for bittering. Yeah, I don't want a lot of bittering on this one, because I'm really focusing on pushing the late hops. I'm only going 5 grams of topaz. It's just enough to get some just a little bit of bitter on the front, so it's not all coming from the back. Okay, and that'll go in for 60 minutes of the boil. And then what we're looking at is, with 2 minutes left, I'm going to throw in 20 grams of Simcoe. Now, I'm coming for me to go so late without any hops, but hey, this is, I said, oh geez, they smell good. Sake of experience. So 20 grams. I said it's only 2 minutes, only a couple of IBUs worth. But because I'm going to do an extended cool in a hop stand, that will get much more contact time. And here goes that pump again, which shouldn't stay on for too long. You know, kicking in and out, keep the mash temp up. Now, 30 grams of Galaxy. Now, I'm using leaf. Oh, yeah, dry cone. So they're going to go into the boil. Well, actually, I lie. They're not going into the boil. They're going to go in a hop stand. So once the boil is completed, I will cool it down to 80 degrees, and then the 30 grams of Galaxy is going to go in to the hop stand, and it will sit for 20 minutes or thereabouts or 80 degrees, and then I'll pull the hop bag out at that point and then cool it off into the fermenter. Now at that point it's going to be something different for me today, because this is the first time I'm actually going to be running cooling through the HERMS coil in the HLT. Up till now I've been cooling with the immersion chiller, which you know, plenty of you would have seen. But in the process of trying to compact the brew rig, I've got the connections and the hoses to run from the brew kettle back through the HERMS. So once I've finished the sparge, I'll be able to empty the whatever sparge water's left in the HLT, which won't be a real lot, and I'll replace that with cold water, and then I'll use the cold water to cool down to the hop stand, and then while that 20-minute hop stand is sitting, I'll be able to change that for cold water and fill it with ice. So the HLT will be a nice cold ice bath, and then run the kettle through that nice and slowly, and I'm hoping that's going to get me down to somewhere around pitching temperature. It's going to be a bit experimental today, because I've never done it before. I haven't even had a dry run at it. I only got the connections together yesterday. So we'll see how we go. But at the end of the day, it's going to get me cold enough that the hops are going to stop doing anything. So even if it has to go into the fridge for a while to cool down and pitch yeast on it in the morning, I'm not too concerned about that. That'll be fine. But we'll see how that goes when we get to it. So the only other thing we'll be doing will be a Citra dry hop on both of these at day 5. Well, depending on when the ferment's finished. They're the ferment for a couple of days. I think we'll talk about that a bit later. Another bit. I'm going to split into 2 batches, one with the BRY-97, one with the US-05, and I'll rehydrate these later. The stir plate's being used for getting stuff up and going for the yeast bank. I'll bank the 97 and the US-05 out of these batches. Once they're done, I'll rinse them off and keep it from there. So that's us for the moment, and so we'll come back when we're have a look at the sparge and how we're going with the boil and stuff. Righto, so sparge is underway. So we're transferring from HLT, which was sitting on around 85 when we started the transfer, over to the ton. We've got the sparge arm sitting on top. Water's just sitting over the grain bed there, and it's just changing, transferring nice and slowly down to the boil kettle. Get the flame on there, bringing it up. We'll just turn the third ring on just to get it moving, and we'll bring that up to 32 litres for a pre-boil and get back underway. Now, I've had to drop the kettle, was there earlier, I've had to drop it down here on the floor simply because this stand is still only wood. I need to get a tile or some steel sheeting to put under there. Even tossing up maybe just buying a stand for the burn so I can get it up off there so it doesn't actually burn it. Because that kettle will need to come back up onto there before I do my cooling, because the pump won't prime otherwise. So a little bit of a deadlift on that one at the end, but nothing too major. Boil's on. Hot break is all but done. And topaz in. Righto, we've had a bit of fun since the boil. Move the kettle back to it where it was gonna sit, which was there, and I couldn't get the pump working. So we've moved the mash tun, put the kettle where the mash tun was, next to the HLT, so I can access the pump a little bit better. But the pump still doesn't want to really get going. But we are at 80 degrees, so that means hopstand. So I've turned the pump off. In goes our Galaxy. Bit hard to see in here, the lights aren't the best at night. Better mix in. Put the bag in. Simcoe's went in here with 2 minutes of the boil. And we'll leave that be, pop the lid back on, and we'll set that for 20 minutes and come back and see if we can get this sparge sorted. Not sparge, the transfer sorted with the pump. Righto, so we've finished the hopstand and we're now transferring to the fermenter. We seem to have sorted out the pump problem. It's quite possible that the bag itself is blocking the tap. It seems to be running alright now. Now, hard to see in there, but there's ice in there. And the HLT. And I'll keep adding a bit of ice to that as we go. I'm trying to keep this water cool as we go. So we'll go for an hour, we'll fill that, and there's another fermenter to go. It's coming out of there at around 30 degrees, so it's a little bit warmer than I'd like, but it's not too bad. So we'll leave that for now, and we'll come back and do some yeast. Rightio. We're coming towards the end of the day. Brew's in the fermenters, it's in the fridge, it's coming down to pitching temp. I'm just going to do up some hydration of my yeast. So we set BRY-97 and US-05. So 1 pack of each hydrated. So I'll let these do their thing, I'll pitch them in half an hour. Brew's currently on 24 degrees, so it's coming down nicely. So they'll be right to pitch in half an hour. So brew day didn't go too badly. The playing around with the coil and the cooling, it didn't work too badly. It was a little bit fiddly. I'm going to have to play around the hoses a little bit and adjust the lengths to get them to work properly. As you've seen, I had to move things around to get it happening, but the cooling in the HLT actually worked really well. So that was the main thing I wanted to see today, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So a bit of fine tuning and playing around before the next brew and things will be a little bit smoother. But we've hit numbers, 1037 starting gravity, it's going for 1038, so pretty pleased with that. So all I've got left to do now is pitch the yeast, which I'm not going to worry about showing you doing that. So it's going to be about, looking 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and we'll be doing a tasting on these and seeing what difference there is between these two yeasts, and see what this brew comes up like. So if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button down there in the corner. Again, ask any questions if you want to, make any comments you like. But that's us for the day. So until I see you again, good brewing.